Coming up, we're going to be talking about Star Wars, Star Trek, the new Iron Man. I mean, so much more. Captain America's getting a statue in Brooklyn. All that and more on this episode of Diz Pop. Diz Pop is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect vacation. Visit them on the web at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hey everybody, I am your host, Rhino Clavin, and today it's just me. It's the week of our 10th anniversary Diz Meet, or well, next Monday is, the Monday coming up, and I figured I would just pop in, do a quick news episode of Diz Pop, because there's been some pretty big stories that I figured we should just talk about. Figured I'd get it out of the way and, give you guys something to listen to while you're on your way down here on Friday. And I look forward to meeting everybody. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I still don't have the Ghostbusters review episode of the movie is up on iTunes now. If anyone wants to check that out, I recommend seeing the movie. Spoiler alert. There's the Ghostbuster Legacy Talk I had with Oliver, where we make an Ecto-Cooler alcohol-themed beverage. That's in the last episode of Diz Pop, so be sure you check that out. And then I am almost done with the arts and crafts video. It's going to be a couple more days. I had a trip to the emergency room, as I said in the last episode. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of an accident. I'm okay. Thank you, everybody. Who cares? If you don't, then get out. But either way, I'm fine. I have to get the feeling back in my left hand a little bit more. I can move my fingers and everything, so that's good. I'm almost there. Just a couple more days, so it'll probably go up after the Diz Meet, and I'll just throw it in there for you guys. But it's a fun craft, and I really don't want you to miss out. It's a fun summer craft. So with that, we'll kind of just hop right in here, all right? First off, we'll do our Disney at the box office, which Finding Dory is now the biggest domestic movie of the year, and now is the highest grossing animated release of all time domestically. That's domestic. It's standing at about $445.5 million as of this last weekend. Here's the top 5 list though. So it's Dory with 445.5 right now. Shrek 2, that was at 441.2. There's The Lion King at 422.7, and then Toy Story 3 at 415, and Frozen at 400.7 million. So good for you, Dory. Good for you swimming up in there. That's a good film. And I think that movie's still got a little bit of life left in it too. It's still got a ways to go. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna, whereas the rest of these kind of stand very close together, I think Dory's gonna swim on up a bit higher. If it's anything like Zootopia. I'm going to apologize for anybody watching right now. It looks like I'm not looking at the camera, but it's because the viewfinder's on the right. So I'm just trying to make sure it's all good. So somebody complained about that once, and I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I can only do so much. Anyway, so let's talk about Ghostbusters. Now we did the episode talking about it leading up to it. We did the movie review, and now it's opened. It's out. I've seen it twice. I'll probably go again tomorrow. It opened to 46 million domestically, which doesn't sound like a lot. However, that is the highest opening for a Melissa McCarthy movie. Surprising, right? And the highest opening for a Paul Feig movie as well, which also is actually pretty surprising to me because he's the comedy guy. I mean, Spy was great, but it just barely missed the top spot with Secret Life of Pets coming out on top, which I was a little surprised about. I do recommend it. I think if you're open to the idea of the Ghostbusters reboot, the fact that there is more than one Ghostbusters, and Ghostbusters is a team and an idea, like you have to think about it in the Power Ranger perspective, where kind of like anybody can be a Ghostbuster, so I need people to get over it and just see it, or just, that's fine. If it's okay not to like it, it's okay. But anyway, the movie's not opening in China, so that's a little bit of a, that's the second largest film market in the world right now. So it's kind of a missing market, a major market for this film. However, it's kind of opening right on target, right where they thought it would. And the Rory Brewer, the president of worldwide distribution for Sony, said there's no doubt in his mind that there's going to be more movies, which is great. And in the last episode, I spoke about a movie an animated movie that was taking place in the future. So, and I just read an article today that it's not actually a movie; it's a TV show, and it's going to be called Ecto Force. And that was originally reported as a feature, but that's coming out in 2018, it looks like. So I look forward to that. I love Ghostbusters. So any Ghostbusters out there in the world, I don't care. I really do hope they make another one with all these women. They're very talented. Leslie Jones was actually my favorite of the bunch, surprisingly enough, because leading into the previews, I thought, oh, she's just going to be a shouter. And I'm going to apologize for anybody listening or watching. My 2 dogs were asleep, and now they started going a little nuts. So one's trying to eat the rug. The other one is rolling around on the ground like crazy. I think they were upset that we're not filming them talking about corgis, but tough luck, puppies. So anyway, I read something interesting too, which I would be totally on board with, not because it's going back to the old Ghostbusters, but just because I love movies that play with universes. And it's so apparently Ivan Reitman, who we all know, he directed the first 2 Ghostbuster movies, and he produced this one. He's the one who's the head of the Ghost Corps entity of Sony. But anyway, he says that there was an idea to bridge the old and the new Ghostbuster films, but he doesn't like the term cinematic universe. He hates using those terms. He says it diminishes what we're going to end up doing, but we're hoping we can make sense of these 2 parallel movies, the original series and the phase reboot. We have an idea for it, and we're working on it. And I love that, because the Ghostbusters has always been kind of about dimensions, traveling to different dimensions and stuff like that, and I think that would be kind of push the boundary, but in a way, I don't want to insult this movie that's there right now, so I kind of maybe hope they save that for a 3rd movie. I don't know. I just feel like this movie it needs to be more confident in itself and, go from there. But just a heads up too, we're officially under the 300-day count for Guardians of the Galaxy. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to that sequel as well. And a new character... Oh, excuse me. I'm skipping ahead. A Beauty and the Beast. They released the poster for the new film starring Emma Watson, directed by Bill Condon, who did the last 2 Twilight movies, which were terrible. But he did the Mr. Holmes, the Sherlock Holmes movie with Ian McKellen. That was pretty good. So check that out if you haven't seen it. So a little personal. Like I said, we're gonna bring some pop in outside of Disney. However, they were once owned by Disney for a stretch there. The Power Rangers. They've debuted their teaser poster, and it's interesting because it's like the lightning bolt in the sky. However, don't get me started. They changed the original series Lightning Bolt, so I feel like this teaser poster, it looks cool for whatever movie it is, but it doesn't say Power Rangers because nobody's going to recognize that Lightning Bolt as being Power Rangers. It looks like The Flash. So the teaser poster's a little, for those of you who are listening, it's basically just really far off shot of 4 people standing on the roof of a car, one next to the car, and like the skyline above it, and the stars kind of make up a lightning bolt. And it says, which I really enjoy, it says, "Together we are more." And they kind of released this right after the shooting, which I don't know, I like that. It was like, it's touching to me. It's kind of the right message. And so some more interesting things on this film have come along. One being that Bryan Cranston is cast as Zordon. What? That's pretty awesome to me. However, if you don't know, Bryan Cranston was actually a voice of 2 different characters. One of them was Snizzard in the original Power Rangers series, and the character of Billy Cranston was named after him. Bryan Cranston's been doing a round of interviews and describing this new Power Ranger movie as basically the equivalent of how the original Batman TV show in the 60s with Adam West is comparable to the Dark Knight Christopher Nolan series or the Tim Burton movie. So cool. I mean, exciting. Like that, you shouldn't think of the 2 the same at all. So that's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to it, especially now they've started, the production materials are rolling in, so they have the character posters of all the Rangers individually. Again, the lightning, it's their color. The bottom says like the character's name, or I'm sorry, it's down the side. Like, so Billy, it's a blue kind of poster with the lightning bolt shining on their face. Again, cool poster. It's just, that's not their lightning bolt, so it doesn't pack that punch. But I'm enjoying this marketing campaign. They did it for each one of the Rangers, and now today, USA Today released a shot of the Rangers finally in their costumes. So we, a couple months ago, were treated to what the costumes were going to look like, but I don't know. It didn't look good. It looked like it was just CGI, like it was the rendering of what they were going to look like. This shot of the Rangers in their costumes, I'm getting on board because they look really cool when they're like this. I understand they don't look anything like the original Power Rangers costumes, but man, these are cool looking costumes when they're up front like that. Like when they're in this side shot without their helmets on. I am very excited. So I'm going to be talking about that quite a bit. Nerd alert, too. I'm actually going to a Power Ranger convention, the Power Morphicon, which is in Pasadena next month in August. And I'm sorry, but there's going to be an episode of Diz Pop about my adventure. I'm an adult. I've been wanting to go for years. They only do it every other year. So I've been trying to wait for about 10 years because this is the 5th one. But I thought this is the time to do it. You know, I've been to California now. I'm familiar. It's like we've got Bryan Cranston's probably going to be there. I mean, how do we know if he's going to be there or not? I don't know. I'm sure the movie cast is going to be there. This is an officially sponsored event, so I'm sure movie cast, there's a new TV show coming out with people. It's the year to go, and the guests that have been rolling in, it's basically every actor that's ever been on Power Rangers in the 23 years it's been on TV. Side note, too, Bryan Cranston doing all those interviews about being in Power Rangers, he keeps saying he did the voice 35 years ago, and the show's only been on the air for 23 years. I wish somebody would just be like, hey, Bryan, it wasn't that long ago. But the man's done so much in his career. I just can't even believe, at this point, I can't even believe he can remember any of it, to be honest with you, because it's just, he's only 60. He just turned 60, and he has the most diverse resume of any actor maybe in history ever. I feel like he should be awarded an award for that alone. Oh, my puppies are going crazy. So Star Wars Celebration was just this last weekend in England, and we got treated to some new Rogue One, a Star Wars story stuff, marketing material, I guess. We got a teaser poster that I think looks pretty cool. It's basically that new planet, that tropical planet, but with like the Death Star looming in the background. That's no moon. And then the tagline on it was, I wrote it down, a rebellion built on hope. So clearly they're driving it home. I don't know why Disney is like worried that people aren't going to know that this is a spinoff. I don't think people are going to care. I just think people love to go to the movies, and Star Wars is the thing that says, hey, let's go to the movies. Yeah, I do apologize. You can't really see it on the monitor behind me. I was trying, but the lighting's a little weird right now, so my bad. You can't turn that monitor's brightness down, so it is what it is. For those of you listening, you don't care. You're just enjoying listening. Maybe you're not enjoying listening, but anyway, let me see if there was any other information. So fans in attendance were treated to a new poster as well as the features, to a new poster as well that features the one and only Darth Vader. That can't be right. Poster? I do know that they saw Darth Vader. Apparently there was a trailer. Maybe that's what I meant, not poster. And it's the new trailer, so they saw that first, but it's very much pushing the idea that there are no Jedi and the Force is not very present in this. If you haven't seen the video, you should go on, check it out. I'll put a link. I think I can do that. I'll put a link in the description of this video. But just go to YouTube and Google search like Rogue One. I'm sure it's like the first one that's going to come up. I watched it this morning. It's the footage from it, I'm excited. It's going to be pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to hop over to another sci-fi universe that we all love so very much, and that is Star Trek. It's been around for about 50 years at this point, which is insane to me. But all different types of iterations, and this week on July 22nd, Star Trek Beyond is going to hit the cinemas, and it's getting great reviews. It's getting really good word of mouth. It's 91% right now with the critics, and they're saying that it is an enjoyable feature. Like that, it's got a new director this time around. It's not J.J. Abrams just produced. Justin Lin, who did Fast and Furious, one of the Fast and the Furious movies, he is directing this one, and apparently the action's fantastic. It's a nice. They're saying it's better than the last one, but not quite 2009. But I honestly don't think any movie's going to come up to that one, because that one is just almost perfection. So it's not very often that, I don't know, that movies like that come around, that can be blockbusters, but that well. I don't know. It's also the coming together movie where it's like Kirk and why everyone is important to Kirk and how it all goes. It's a perfect storm of a film. And I'll have to do a retrospective look back at the series as a whole after I see the third one. But I love them all. They're all great. They're great films. And I'm a big fan of Star Trek. And some exciting news has come out. They've decided that the character of Sulu is going to be gay in the new film. I should have thrown up a spoiler alert at that point. However, it's extremely early on in the film, and it is like 30 seconds of a scene or something like that. It's just one of those quiet little, not a lot of attention brought to it. He does have a daughter in the film. As you remember in Star Trek Generations, we meet Sulu's daughter at the helm of the Enterprise D? C? I can't remember which Enterprise it was at the opening of that one, but we meet his daughter there. So they've decided that character is gay in the universe, and there was a whole big controversy. Surprisingly enough, George Takei was not happy about that. They said it altered Gene Roddenberry's original vision, and then everybody kind of felt bad. But then Simon Pegg argued elsewise, and then he had a whole thing about why he said how it could be in this universe, and then Zachary Quinto was a little bit, or Quinto, I don't know. He was upset with the reaction and stuff, so it kind of went back and forth. But George Takei has also explained why he felt the way he was again. So it's kind of just been going back and forth. I think it's cool. I'm excited that it's an already established character and they didn't have to create a new character, so it wasn't like a big to-do about it. And of all, they even said that making Sulu gay was a nod to George Takei because, he's, an activist. And so it's upsetting that he wasn't fired, but it is what it is. Everybody's got their opinions, and you know what? That's fine. But I think it's cool. I look forward to it. Now, I do have some exciting news that J.J. Abrams and Paramount just announced this morning, is that Chris Hemsworth will be back for the next Star Trek movie. I guess Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and the rest of the cast are already signed up for the next one, so we will get a fourth Star Trek with all these great people here. The question is, how is Chris Hemsworth coming back? Because if you may remember, in 2009 Star Trek, Chris Hemsworth plays George Kirk, which is James Tiberius Kirk's father, who died at the helm of the USS Kelvin, saving everyone in this Kelvin timeline, which is what we call the newer movies timeline. The original one's the original timeline, and this is that's Prime timeline? I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I do know the new one is called Kelvin, the Kelvin timeline. And I think it's cool that they could get him back on board. The rumor, people right now are speculating that it's basically going to be closing the loop between the first movie and this movie, and therefore really solidifying that these movies exist in their own bubble of a universe. We'll see. It's Star Trek. It's the unknown. You know what I mean? They can do whatever they want to do. But in that Star Trek news as well, Netflix has picked up the rights to all Star Trek everything for overseas. It includes the brand new TV show that's exclusive to CBS All Access. So that's pretty cool. It's going to be the exclusive home of Star Trek in 188 countries. But guess what? It doesn't include us or Canada. So sorry, Canada. I'm upset too. But each episode of the new show is going to be available to stream within 24 hours of its premiere on Netflix. So that's pretty cool that they're getting right on that Hulu kind of immediate pickup pace. It says all the episodes and movies will be on Netflix by the end of 2016. In Canada, Bell Media is going to handle the rollout of that new show on CBS, with the pilot premiering on CTV, and then the remaining episodes in English are going to be on Space, and in French they'll be on Z, and then later exclusively on the Crave TV streaming video on demand service. So it's crazy how that all works out in different ways, but it's cool. It's good. Everyone gets Star Trek. That's what's great about Star Trek, is it can be, I don't know, it's kind of our universal thing. It's hope. It's what we want the future to be, rather than this thing that's crumbling right now in front of us. But that show is going to begin production in Toronto in September, ahead of a January 2017 release. And Bryan Fuller, who is the genius behind the beautiful and amazing television show Hannibal, is doing that. And he actually got his start writing for Deep Space Nine and Voyager. So I can't wait to, or it might have been Deep Space Nine and Next Generation. I can't remember, but I can't wait. I'm super excited. I'm very excited to see what a exclusive streaming Star Trek series looks like. We don't know much about it yet, though. But on that Netflix story, the Netflix and the CW have just signed a pretty big deal together. The CW and Netflix have confirmed a new multi-year output pack that significantly is going to accelerate the availability of CW scripted TV shows on Netflix. For me, and I'm sure for a lot of us out there, the nerds out there, I mean, they're getting Supergirl season 2. We're going to have Arrow season 5. We've got The Flash season 3. Legends of Tomorrow season 2. Supernatural. It's the network where I want to watch stuff sometimes. I was like, ugh, CW, blah. But those shows are I love all those shows. So, but the new deal is going to call for CW shows to become available on Netflix 8 days after each program's season finale, starting with the shows that air in the 2016 to 2017 season. I think this is awesome. I mean, I'm only like 9 episodes into Flash season 2, and I lost it because even on Hulu Plus, it was like they would disappear after a while, so I was missing one here and there, and this is going to make it a lot easier for me to binge watch and catch up. So I am super, super excited for that. All right, so shifting down, we're still on Netflix, but we're shifting into the comic book realm, and Netflix has debuted the first poster for the Luke Cage show that's going to start streaming this fall, and it's definitely a callback to the comics. I mean, it's basically drawn, and it's in that yellow, which is, as you know, he wears the yellow shirt, and it looks pretty cool. I'm very excited for the show. I loved Daredevil season 2. It was kind of a slower work through than the first season, but it was still good. And Jessica Jones was great. I can't wait for the next season of that. And now this, and then the Defenders series is going to be fantastic. Well, I don't know, but I'm assuming. But we'll see. We'll see it together. So into the comic books, we've got some big news because a 15-year-old girl is looking to replace Tony Stark. And, it's, a 15-year-old black girl is going to be replacing her. Her name is Riri Williams. She is, so I got a little bit of quotes here, but Bryan Michael Bendis, who's a big comic book Marvel writer, he's writing Civil War 2 right now, which you should keep following. And I haven't read issue 3, but I hear a major character death. No spoilers. Until I read it, and then we can spoil everything for everyone. I'm just kidding. I'm not that person. But he said that the events of Civil War II are going to lead Tony away from full-time adventuring. So the character of Riri Williams has already made an appearance in the Invincible Iron Man comic. So pretty much all we know about her is that she goes to MIT, and she's basically a genius. Her intelligence is rivaling that of Tony, and she's maybe even smarter than Tony. So get it, girl. I mean, she's a little young. It seems like Marvel is slowly starting to skew their comic books to the younger level. I don't know how I feel about that lately. I also don't know how I feel about a 15-year-old. Like, Spider-Man's already pretty young. It just seems irresponsible to have teenagers. I mean, it said the person who's a huge fan of Power Rangers, but it just seems a little parentally irresponsible to have children. But I guess you don't know what your kids are doing when they're out fighting crime because you're a terrible parent. I'm looking at you, Aunt May. You can give all your speeches all you want, but you don't know where your kids are. Your nephew, I mean. Her suit looks pretty cool. It was illustrated and designed by series artist Stefano Caselli. The arc reactor, as you will see in the photo, is missing, though. But there is, however, this triangle on her head that's glowing, and so people are speculating maybe that's the power source. It's interesting. It's a very unisexual costume. Like, it doesn't specifically look like a woman, but it doesn't look like a man, which I like. I mean, I like that it's not over-sexualized. It's about time, you know what I mean? Like, good God, women are, I've said this before. It's just I hate that women have these really awkward costumes, and then dudes are all armored up and everything. And I'm gonna be a little more crass is a word here, but it doesn't have boob armor. My number one issue with the new Power Rangers costume, boob armor. It's boob, like it's, I don't know. Why does every time a woman have to put on a suit and like show strength that all of a sudden everything's boosted up and what, you know, I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on from that. I'm probably in the wrong demographic to really be answering that too, but we also are going to have a new Iron Man at the same time as Riri Williams. Victor Von Doom will also be Iron Man. That's right. The Fantastic Four, their number one villain, woo! Their number one villain is going to put on the suit in the infamous Iron Man. Now, Riri's comic is going to be the Invincible Iron Man. This one's the infamous Iron Man, and that's going to replace International Iron Man. Good God, how do people keep this straight? But it's going to run alongside the Invincible Iron Man, which is Riri's comic. In this series, a presumably reformed Victor Von Doom is going to pick up the Iron Man mantle. The series is being written by none other than Bryan Michael Bendis. And the synopsis is, there is a new Iron Man in town, and his name is Victor Von Doom. The greatest villain of the Marvel Universe will try something new. Where Tony Stark failed, Doom will succeed. What is Doom's master plan? This whole idea of having two different characters suit up as Iron Man at the same time, and neither of them as Tony, is going to be a smidge confusing, but, you know, they kind of, there's two Captain Americas right now, too. There's Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, so I think people will survive, but it'll be interesting. I want to see if they all kind of like tie together too. I'm interested to see how both of those characters become Iron Man. At that same time, Marvel has announced a new comic series coming out called Marvel. It's called The Champions. They're basically this group that after Civil War II, they don't want to be a part of the Avengers anymore, so they quit. So it's the younger people. It's Miles Morales, and you can see in the poster they're burning their Avengers cards because, I mean, why would you not think that they would have ID cards that they carry around with their secret identities? Who knew? They're junior members of the main team Avengers, and they're quitting in response to the moral feelings of their adult counterparts during Civil War II. Let me see. Attitude is apparently a big part of why they've repurposed the Champions name. And it's coming out in the fall, I believe. I went to the store and they said that's probably the earliest it will be. There's not really much known about it right now, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. It looks pretty cool. It's a teen team supreme that refuses to adhere to the antiquated ways of old. And the roster so far that we know of is going to include, like I said, Miles Morales, the younger and formerly Ultimate Spider-Man, the current Nova standard bearer Sam Alexander, Kamala Khan, who's Ms. Marvel, and then the totally awesome Hulk, who is Amadeus Cho, and Viv Vision, the synthesized daughter of the Vision. And I guess also is going to be joining up the teenage version of Scott Summers, who's technically the same person as the adult Cyclops, who's also active in the universe, but he's got his own little displaced timeline, storyline. I don't know. Interesting. So Captain America is getting his own statue in Brooklyn to celebrate he's celebrating 75 years with this statue, but for the superheroes anniversary, Marvel is unveiling a 13-foot tall bronze cap at San Diego Comic-Con. That's this coming weekend, July 20th through the 24th, before it heads east on a cross-country trip and lands in Brooklyn's Prospect Park for a dedication ceremony on August 10th. Pretty cool. The statue, which literally weighs a ton, features the movie quote, "I'm just a kid from Brooklyn." He says that in Captain America, the First Avenger, but it features a pose of, quote, symbolically chosen, or a pose that was, quote, symbolically chosen to showcase the impressive strength of Captain America in his stoic form. Captain America's signature shield also takes prominence, paying homage to his heroism, indestructible power, and determination. The company Comic Cave Studios, which designed this statue with the Marvel artists, will be selling a limited edition line of 750 12-inch bronze replicas and 100 made-to-order 35-inch pewter ones for the Captain America aficionados out there in the world. Interesting. Pretty cool. Next time I'm in New York, I will definitely have to make a trip and check out this statue for sure. I think that's going to kind of do it today. I don't want this episode to go on for too long. I always say that, and then it's like 45 minutes of the episode. But I want to talk about Pokemon Go really quick. I know that's not something... I don't really like Pokemon, but this app is sweeping the nation, or the world, as it were. Not to be dramatic, but it's insane, the news stories I hear, and it's kind of a cool thing. It's apparently the most downloaded app in history. Lots of users. I've signed up for it. I've used it a little bit, but I thought it would be cool if we did a little video segment where we showed you guys how to play, what the whole deal is with the app, and then go to maybe one of the parks and check it out and see what's going on. Because Craig, Oliver, and myself stayed at the new Orlando resort, the new Universal Orlando Resort, Sapphire Falls, this last weekend, and we ate one night at City Walk, and we were walking back. Oh my God, every single person was playing Pokemon. I think there was an event there, but it was kind of cool to see all these people interacting in this way. And I know a big thing is like people are saying, well, they're not really interacting. They're not really doing this. They're not doing that. Whatever. You're having fun. That's fine. You're not hurting anybody. That's fine. With that said, this game has gotten a little crazy. Apparently, people are just obsessive. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. People have walked off cliffs and died. People are being robbed because they're being lured for rare Pokemons. A girl found a dead body in the river. There's another girl who got hit by a car because she ran across a 5-lane highway. Like, come on. Apparently her parent was with her too, so that's terrible. But what's interesting is despite the success of the game, though, the Pokemon Group and Nintendo are unwilling to license their property out for a movie adaptation just yet. And that's kind of crazy because I recently heard they were trying to work on a live-action one. But the quote is, Pokemon Company and Nintendo are not focused on movie rights currently. The company doesn't want a movie deal distracting its execs, nor does it want a deal to potentially detract them from the game. They view a movie deal only as a downside at this stage. I know they're still hurting from that Mario Brother movie, I'm telling you. But apparently the idea is that a potential movie license deal would be worth anywhere between $5 and $10 million, but nothing compared to the revenue the Pokemon app has generated thus far. I didn't even know you could it's a free app. So I'm curious how it's doing stuff, but I have heard some local businesses, so if you can become a gym or whatever, you can go in and okay, so my friend Jill, who owns the cupcake store, who I believe may come Pokemoning with us, may not, but her store ended up being a gym somehow, and so she had a whole event there, and she said, come in, and if you can find the rare Pokemon that she's looking for and like give her one, if you can even do that. I think that's what she had it set up like, but you'll get like a free cupcake, or you can, if you have these rare ones, you can get the special rare Pokemon cupcake. It's pretty cute. It's a really cool, I think that's cool, like how something like that's Universal can drive up business for local businesses. So if you are a local business and you're taking advantage of that, I'm just going to say good for you and smart to get on that trend like that, because it's a big deal. I'm sure it'll burn out eventually and just the hardcore fans will be left. But right now it's just people experimenting with a new augmented reality type of game. And I say have fun. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to try and get into it. I got to do my research a little bit, and we'll see if we can game capture some of the screens and whatever and show it to you. So if you are listening, that might be an episode you want to tune into YouTube for. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't think it'll be a whole episode. I think it's just going to be like a Dispop mini-sode, like just a little segment, a little fun, If I can find time between now and the end of the week, which doesn't seem likely because of all these crazy events that we're doing for the Diz Unplugged 10th anniversary meet this weekend to benefit Give Kids the World. I'll try and get out there. If any of you listening right now, I'm going to see you. I am very excited to meet everybody, especially who's ever got my Ecto Cooler Twinkies. I'm so excited. It'll be a lot of fun. If you happen to be around and you see us and you're not doing the event, just say hi. Say hey, what up? And you know what, guys? I'm going to make that Facebook page public. I have said this like 5 times now, but I am going to do it, and I am going to start updating stuff. Oh, that reminds me, too. Okay, so whenever I do these arts and crafts videos or whatever I talk about this stuff in here, what I'm going to start doing is we're gonna get the show notes page going a little bit better, and in the description, the show notes page, I'm gonna start doing little article write-ups too, so you can refer back to like the information I'm saying. But I want to start putting the links out there for you guys to get, because a lot of times I'll tell you where you can go to get it, like, oh, you can find this at Walmart or Michael's, or I never condone anybody going to Walmart, but sometimes you can't find it anywhere but Walmart. But I'm gonna start giving you guys the links on like Amazon, because we've got Prime. If you don't have Prime, like it's I feel like I've forgotten what it's like to live in that small town where sometimes it's hard to find the arts and crafts store you need, and maybe you're not quite sure what the exact utensil you need is, or the tool you need is, or any of that stuff. So I'm going to start helping you guys out a little bit more with that. And in return, I would like you guys to start showing me a little bit more photos of your stuff, because I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing, and it means a lot to me that you guys are doing this. So I think that'll do it for today. Stay tuned for that arts and crafts video. Hopefully, I'm going to say by the end of next week, we'll be able to get that going. There's nothing sadder than a half-done craft that is just sitting in my office. So I really want to get to it. I've done 2/3 of it. So, but the last part is like a really fun, a little cool one. So we'll get to that. And yeah, till then, we'll see you next time. Feel free to tweet at us, DizPopShow. Like us on there. Go on Instagram, follow us. Although I'm terrible at posting photos right now, I'm sorry. I'll start doing that a little bit more when I see cool stuff. I forget that now there's other people out there that are like into this like me. So I'm gonna brace you guys a little more. But so that's all DizPop Show. Facebook DizPop Show, Instagram DizPop Show, Twitter DizPop Show. I'm gonna say subscribe to our YouTube feed, subscribe or the YouTube channel Diz Unplugged, and subscribe to the iTunes channel, because videos like this are just going to start popping up. I'm going to start veering away from that regular schedule more and more, and just kind of break this down into segments. I mean, I'm still going to have the show, but I just want to, like this Pokemon Go thing, like hopefully we'll be able to make that an audio show for you guys listening, but I want to be able to stream this information out to you more as I'm getting it, as opposed to like waiting for a show to gather it all, because, I mean, come on, it's pop culture. We love it. We can't get enough of it. So that's that. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Sorry this episode was a little bit of a mess. My dogs, they finally decided to lay down at the very end, but they appreciate it. You guys love it when I do it here, right? Yeah. They love me. They love you. And that's it. So I will see you guys in the next episode of Diz Pop.